Welcome everyone, Jarl of Goats here for week 2 of our Broken Expanse campaign set in the Stars Without Number universe. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Awesome. I am excited for today. So let's go around the table and find out what everybody's been up to and if there's anything exciting that they've been working on. How is everybody's holiday season? We'll start with Max because Max looks very bored.
Nothing crazy. Doing a con at the end of the month, but other than that, doing pretty good.
Excellent. I have to say your portrayal of Leo was on par last episode. What you guys don't know as an audience is in our Facebook group where we plan all of this stuff, that we've already made jokes about strippers, and Ethan posted a video of a Las Vegas strip club that has actual robot strippers. And yeah, so Leo's an interesting character. I'm going to look forward to playing with him. Are you playing any games right now that you're really into, or?
Skyrim, just like usual, and jump back into Star Trek Online.
Man, that game is so good. For those of you who may have played Star Trek Online in 2010 when it came out, it is like a completely different game. They've done so much to it. And it seems like every year they revamp the game. Instead of just releasing a DLC, they improve the entire game system. I really love it. I still hate how dumb my away team members are. Like, they'll stare at the back of the wall. They'll be like... But, whatever. I'm okay with that. If you go in a group of 5 captains, it's actually not so bad. Excellent. I didn't know you still play that. I'm going to have to get in touch with you. And let's turn over to the Dark Emperor himself, Azel.
Excellent, yes.
You've been playing a lot of Warhammer 40k.
Just in general, yeah. I've been on a huge Warhammer kick.
That makes me scary, because going through that grim universe and then joining this game, you're going to have some crazy ideas.
I mean, and I was also playing as somewhat religious characters, so...
Oh,
see where that goes.
The God Emperor has spoken. Well, it's good to see you. You've got a wonderful new camera.
I do. It's kind of dark, so I'll get some light.
Yeah,
oh,
you
God.
should probably... Actually, that's much better. I like the light. It's weird, though, because when we were setting up the call, there was light coming through his window, and it was like, ha, Shebanya! And then, like, out of nowhere, it just became extremely dark. Where the fuck do you live? Where it's just like, it's in like a cartoon world where it's like nighttime and the sun just flies underneath.
If you notice, those windows are incredibly small squares. So you only get just so much.
So the sun was like setting and just shining in the window and then whoop, gone.
Yeah. It's just once a few houses got in the way, it's gone.
Excellent. Well, I'm a big Warhammer 40k fan myself. I play the Imperial Tardsman. Because I like big tanks. I cannot lie. Something creative.
Good old Astra Miltar.
Yep, there you go.
And I'm also.
And I do Grenadiers. So whenever, like, there was this one tournament I was in where they sent a Daemon Prince after me, and all my Grenadiers were like, get him! And I killed him with my Grenadiers, and I'm just punching my equipment. So it was great. I'm like, haha, I killed you with my basic unit. And then
your equipment, you really are an Imperial card player.
There you go. I've got 6 basilisks, and this one Tau player was like, I'm going to move up closer. I'm like, all right, I'm going to direct fire you with my Earthshaker cannon. They're like, you can't do that. I'm like, yes, I can. I just have to roll the dice and then a number of inches that it's off. So all 6 of my basilisk tanks were like, his entire front line was just gone. Because an Earthshaker cannon does so much goddamn damage. It's ridiculous. And then, of course, they have las cannons all over the front of them. So it's like, oh, well, pew, 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 pew.
Either las cannons or heavy bolters, yeah.
I don't do heavy bolters because I have to be able to pierce armor. I have to rely on the las cannons. Because my Cadians have the rapid-fire rifles. So if I want to pepper you, I'll use those. But
yeah, true.
Well, good to hear from you. And let's cut over to Adian, the other Dark Lord. Adian, how's it going?
It is.
It is.
It is.
That's life.
The only game I've actually gotten any interest in really is back to Black Desert Online. The LAN is coming out. The weapon that's like a giant crescent blade on the end of a 6-foot ribbon that she swings around like a sword dancer. It's freaking epic.
I've actually heard a lot of good things about Black Desert Online.
It's like combine a medieval fantasy with Tekken fighting, and then make it a sandbox MMO.
That sounds terrible. if done right, it would be amazing. But I don't have faith.
There's a little bit of something in there for everybody. Like if you want to go out and grind, you can go do that. If you want to go make horses, you go do that. You know, if you want to be a trader, you can go do that.
I actually like the sounds of that. Well, it's good to have you here. I know we're all excited to play. So let's go to the least important person in the team. Ethan, what have you been up to?
I'm not hungover this time, so that's good.
Are you excited for the new season of Rainbow Six? And did you buy a season's pass?
I haven't purchased one yet, but I will.
Keep your eyes open on G2A.com, because usually right around February or March, those season passes go down in excellent price. And then you just get all the DLC for the year. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I gotta say, if any of you have been thinking about trying Rainbow Six Siege, do it. Do it. Like, the amount of progress that they've been making since 2015, the stuff that they add to the game, it's all very, very well thought out. And as far as first-person shooters go, I find it very balanced. I know some people disagree with me, but I love the game. Can't wait to start playing that again with you. Mm-hmm. So, without further ado, let's cut the shit and get into this. We'll do the intro for this episode. As the credits fade from the cinematic intro, camera focuses on the canvas of the stars spread across the silky darkness of space. The camera pans down toward a planet that is bright from the nearby sun, but is covered in dark gray smoke-filled clouds rolling across the surface. Lightning angrily tears at the skies of this world, causing a blinking light show from the planet's orbit. Leading to the surface of the planet is a trail of ship debris, as well as several frozen corpses spiraling aimlessly in space. The orange uniforms of the Jose de la Cruz family that the bodies wear are heavily burned by some type of explosive. A small mail ship flies from behind the camera, heading toward the planet, attempting to avoid as much of the debris as it could. The vessel, a small square-shaped craft, blinks aggressively as it passes through the scene. Several dozen comm antennas and dishes are pointed around the ship, which gives the vessel its primary purpose. The Communication League, a corporation that started as an employees union to help push communications from one system to the others, have created a lucrative business delivering physical parcels as well as communications downloaded from comm buoys and systems and sending them to the outer systems. The bridge of this communication vessel has several banks of consoles and comms technicians who listen to the communications with a headset and organize them based on where they're going next. 16 consoles in total border the bridge of a U-shaped design covering 3 sides of a square. The empty side containing a large window that overlooks the front of the ship, providing visual confirmation on what lies in front of the vessel. The captain aboard the craft looks out the viewport at the trail of wreckage and utters a tisk, tisk, tisk. "Looks like these boys had one hell of a technical problem," he mutters. His crew stands around the bridge, looking at the sight before them. "Well, keep avoiding the bulk of the debris, helmsman, and get us to port." He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small sheet of paper that has been carelessly folded. "Port 730 XD. The helm nods and inputs a landing pattern, cracking open the comms to radio the planetary security force. After a few moments, the ship is given permission to enter the atmosphere and breaks through rough turbulence as it transitions from the environment of open space to the oxygenated world below them. As the ship approaches one of the platforms, the comms devices extend and begin to send all the messages intended for this planet. The communications officers aboard the ship turn back towards the captain. "Payload is delivered, sir." The captain nods, eyeing the city structures protruding from a large floating rock platform that bobs up and down with the magnetic fields. The ship navigates a labyrinth of skyscrapers and maneuvers through and around lanes of traffic. Within a few moments, the ship passes the mining garages, where most of the industrial vehicles are housed and maintained. The camera pans through the engine wash of the ship and lowers on the mining platform where the four of you have stepped off of a tram into a grimy station where the miners are passing in and out of the entrance carrying equipment, lunch boxes, and their hazard suits. In Ronan's hands rests the location of the lockers and the docking bay for the grav lift that Boris gave you to use. The bay you are looking for is 64G, which indicates that you are on docking platform 64 and you need to find the G gate. So, that being said, I want you to think of your perception, sight, hearing, sound, taste, and feeling. Why don't each of you guys describe to me a component of this scene based on one of your perceptions? You guys are literally just walking off the tram. What's something you see, smell, hear, taste, or feel? We'll
I think Leo would.
No, Leo, go ahead.
I think Leo would really notice that the metallic taste in the air, just because of how attuned he is with electronics. He kind of notices that right off the bat and thinks it's not ideal conditions for any kind of electronics.
Yeah, like there's like a nitrogen coppery taste to the air, and you're like,
yeah, more so than normal.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the atmosphere is a little thicker down in this lower part of the city. Perfect. What about you, Azelle?
I was going to say something similar, but I would say that that in terms of touch, when you step off the tram, you have this, any exposed skin has this grimy feeling immediately.
Yeah,
like
like
a very dense sort of.
Even though it's on the same platform that you guys were in, we've already described the city as being grimy in general, but I imagine that as the doors are opening and miners are coming off their shift and heading towards the tram, there's like a thick, grimy city air that kind of emits from these doors and fills the tram docking area. Nice. What about you, Ethan?
What I notice is that while there is a bunch of miners coming and going, that when it comes to any kind of scavenger-looking crews, there's not a lot around this area. So it makes me believe that they go from other locations.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of scavengers, mostly miners. And Adian.
I'm thinking hearing he'd be paying attention to what he hears most, and I'm not hearing a whole bunch of mechanical whir. Like, I'm not hearing machinery, I'm not hearing conversation. It's just like people trudging from one place to the next as quickly as possible and no interaction at all.
Okay, well, let me put that into a description for you then. First off, the one thing that you see is that there's nearly 20 black signs above these corresponding archways that have letters on them. There's only 20 of them, but you see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and it goes on. There are several low-end merchants here that sell mining tools and supplies to the staff working. And the miners here don't seem to represent a single corporation, but the interests of several sources. Different colored uniforms maneuver about the corridor. Patches of their various employers are printed on their shoulders. Here, there's no presence of law enforcement like near the embassies where you guys were at. Instead, law appears to be enacted by private security forces. The terminals that line the tram station is merely there so that miners can have access to their money as well as their email accounts. The smell of poorly fried food radiates through the terminal as greasy portions of meat are grilled over the grimy grills of food vendors that position themselves in the terminal near the trams. The merchants and the miners do not look to be poor, but the industrial environment has created an atmosphere of grime, filth, and rough-necked employees. People here are respectful of the law with one another, but are not very talkative. In fact, it would be hard to convince one of them to stop and have a conversation, as they're all moving about like they have a place to be. As Ethan mentioned, there's a different type of citizens in the crowd as well. In fact, it's kind of hard to miss. There appears to be lightly armed mercenaries in cleaner clothing huddled in amongst one another, handing printouts to each other. They chatter to themselves quietly and make sure to eyeball people traveling closely to them and silencing themselves when somebody steps too close. Another group of people, and this one doesn't seem so numerous, is medical personnel and fire rescue teams that are offloading supplies and arc welders. These folks are not making their purpose secret, and they are more than willing to talk as they're asking miners nearby on if they've seen anything. They seem very talkative, but they belong to the government of the planet, and their reflective white and red uniforms make their appearance obvious, as well as the words written on their back in Russian. Does anyone here speak Russian?
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, definitely check your character sheets, because if you
just-
do, that
just
would be
English.
handy. Okay, well, then you guys have no idea what this Skrillex is saying. All right. There are containers that line the hallways of the terminals, stacked and organized. Go ahead.
Quick question. Quick question. The compad, is it just a compad, or does it have other capabilities like translation and stuff like that?
It's got basic translation, but it's not something that you could, like, take a picture of something.
Okay.
You would literally have to download the language to the compad from this planet, and then if you received a message in Russian, it would take some time to translate it.
Okay.
Containers line the hallways of the terminal, stacked and organized by the different mining companies. Whether or not it's ore or tools, no one would really know unless further investigation on them is done. Occasionally, the atmosphere of the area is broken up by flashing orange lights, followed by the sound of heavy machinery. As a response to the orange lighting, the crowd disperses and clears a path almost autonomously. Like, they don't look at the light. They see the light flashing on the wall, and they just create a hole. And after a few moments, a cargo lifter powered by 6 legs swings around the corner with a large crate locked in its pincers. Sitting near the back of the lifter and positioned in front of the large engine, a caged cockpit houses a man wearing a fluorescent vest and a white hard hat. His grizzled features appear motionless as he works, not acknowledging the crowd, but instead focusing on his instruments and his final destination. As it rumbles past you, the noise is almost loud enough for you to need ear protection. But then as he passes, you guys are fine. And this is where I turn the scene over to you. I tried to incorporate everything that you guys had mentioned, so...
Yeah. So we're on...
You literally
64.
just stepped off a platform. Yeah, a tram. Maybe there's a... I don't know if you guys have ever played Dead Space, but there's like a welcome to Platform 64. Work safe. Work smart. And then you've got the letterings above the doorways. A through whatever letter is the 20th letter of the alphabet. I'm too lazy right now.
Those aren't in Russian, are they?
Yes, they are.
Is it written in Russian on the paper?
No.
Okay.
So where are we going?
And I'm going to look up and try to decipher if I can tell where A is and maybe walk my way down.
Do you know what the Russian letter A looks like?
No, I'm just saying, like, maybe I look at a letter and see if it's...
Can I want to roll an intelligence if possible.
So
okay. my thought is if it's the alphabet, if that represents the alphabet, the A would start at one end.
Well, yeah, I mean, it would start at one end regardless. Or are you saying that you want to deduce what the most logical starting point would be?
Right, just based on a basic intelligence.
Okay, why don't you make an intelligence check?
While he's doing that, Alishra is going to turn to Francisco and be like, you have the document?
Yes, I do.
You want to just show it to somebody and see where we're supposed to go?
I mean, perhaps.
There's the mercenaries you can talk to, there's the rescue workers you could talk to, there's the merchants and food vendors, or you could pull a miner aside.
I would point at the city workers. They seem a little bit more apt to help.
Yeah, you guys look over at the rescuers, and the rescuers are talking to the miners, getting directions.
I think I want to talk to these guys, and I point to the mercenaries that look very sketchy and just huddling behind next to each other, handing out pieces of paper, pointing to things.
Yeah, there's 4 of them. And there's a woman and a man, and they're pretty tall. You could tell they're like that Eastern European, like, radiation has to have been in their food or something, because they're above 6 foot. They're very attractive too, and they're talking to each other, looking over papers. And then there's 2 bodyguard types standing with them. One of them is extremely short, but he's ripped. Like, you could tell he definitely suffers short man syndrome. And yeah, they're all standing there.
Are we talking dwarf short, or are we talking like...
No, like just...
Okay.
Like 5'5"?
I would say probably 5'5". For a guy, it's like, hey there, shorty. Not like, oh, down here, you know.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you know, Tyrion. They're gonna toss Tyrion to the mines. But yeah, so you motion to them. What does the group think? Oh, Leo, did you make that? Go ahead and make. What kind of an intelligence check are you gonna make? Look at your skills. Have you decided?
Maybe just I was thinking perception.
Perception, intelligence. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, help me, Leo. I'm not very smart.
9! That unfortunately, because of my beautiful overlay, you can't see it, YouTube, but that was a 9. That's a success. Leo, you can, from your best estimation, you realize the start is over to your right. Francisco suggests talking to the mercenaries who look like they know what they're doing.
I mean, I could just go up to them and say something real quick. I'm not going to make this.
I didn't know if you want to confer it to the group.
No, that's what I'm saying to the group. Sorry, I should have been clear.
Okay, well, I think I can figure out where G is now.
Well, hang on. Leo may not have shared that information.
Okay.
Leo, I'm not role-playing for Leo, but so far he has shown us that he's the guy that just wanders off and doesn't really communicate with the group.
Well, I imagine, so I'm over, I kind of take a couple steps ahead of him, and I'm looking up and just kind of figuring it out. Ah, okay, that's A over there. So I have no idea where G's at. Is there as many letters in the Russian alphabet as there is the English one?
Nope.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying out loud.
Yeah.
Rhoda's gonna go, I mean, how many letters could they have?
Good point. Good point.
So I'm gonna shout
Leo counts all the doorways. 20.
Wait a minute.
Well, I mean, half of them, most people don't count anyway, so I think that's about right.
Sure.
Let's
So
just get some confirmation before we go anywhere.
I'm gonna stick close to Capitan.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we all. I'm going to follow along with him because I think we all should probably stick together.
Yeah. This is kind of like a scary new neighborhood. Yeah, so you guys approach these mercenaries, and the little short one kind of looks over his shoulder, and you see they're armed with just sidearm pistols. It's not like they've got rifles and bazookas, and, you know, the 2 fighters are wearing just weave armor. And then the 2 tall ones, they just look to be wearing basic clothing. And as you approach, the short one looks over and goes, hey, and says something to his people. And they look like they're folding the paper that they were looking at and tucking it in their pockets. And the woman straightens up and steps forward as if waiting for you to approach. But they're all making eye contact with you. You know, that kind of like, you're sitting there in... Every time I go to Seattle, right, and I see a homeless guy or somebody who looks like they're a foreigner, and I'm like, please don't talk to me, please don't talk to me. But then they lock eyes with me, and I know they're going to talk to me. Like, even though they're weaving through the crowd, they're like, hey. I'm like, oh, shit. That's exactly what is going on here. You guys are making eye contact with them. They're making eye contact with you.
Okay, so are we at the group now?
Yeah, you step up to the group.
Okay. Excuse me, can you tell me which platforms are F and G?
F and G? She takes your sheet. And then she folds it. She goes, you want to go to that one down there? If you count them numerically, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Thank you.
You're
And I
very
just
welcome.
walk away.
Are you with Boris?
Who wants to know?
I've just been in this mining facility before, and that's his platform.
We're guests of Boris.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck down there. Stay safe, and may your day be productive.
Thank you. And I continue to walk away.
Well, you don't have to walk away because your guys are standing right next to you. Like, one of those, you turn around and they're looking at you, and you guys are like, where do we...
Hey, oh shit.
Did you get your document back, or did you just hand it over?
She handed it back. She handed it back.
All right.
Where would you guys like to go?
I'll go scout out the one that she pointed out.
So are you going alone?
Unless they follow me.
I'll go with them.
Leo,
Leo?
come with me. I want to make sure that they told me the truth.
Okay. So does Leo find the woman attractive?
Hang on. If we're gonna do this, we gotta do this classic Jarl of Goats style. You know what I'm saying?
3D6.
Like,
3D6.
we gotta roll a 3d6 for hotness. So let's do that real quick. Damn!
Oh, fuck.
Holy shit! Whoops.
Right there.
She is very, very. In fact, I would actually say that you and Ronan were probably like, hey. She was very attractive. Leo, are you kind of like keeping your eyes on her as you walk away?
Exactly. So I'm just keeping my eyes on her as I'm walking. I'm not paying attention to anything else, really.
So Francisco's kind of leading you at this point.
Yeah.
Leo, thank you very much, because you notice that the moment that you guys disperse, they look at each other frantically and take off.
The hot one just left.
What? Why are you still... Wait, what do you mean they just left?
So as soon as you turned your back, they just booked it that way.
Towards the lock we need to go to?
No, not towards what she pointed.
We need to go get the other two. I think they're walking into something.
Go get them. I'm going to talk to these guys real quick and make sure they pointed us the right way.
Talk to who? Which guys?
Oh, I point towards the paramedics.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to talk to the paramedics. Leo is going to go after Alishrad and Ronan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Leo, I don't think it would take you very long to get to them. Alishrad and Ronan's they're both, like, Alishrad's very careful in general. Ronan's very tactical. So it's not like they're spearheading their way through.
Yeah.
And you're very clumsy, antisocial, and freakishly tall. So you're just barreling.
And I'm yelling. I'm
Yeah,
yelling
like,
out their names.
Ronan! Yeah, no one else is talking, so there's really no need to yell. Ronan, you just hear his voice like needles.
I'm just gonna stop.
Yes,
Sounds
Leo.
like
So I explained to them what we just saw.
Okay, could you roll a stealth for me? Or whatever skill is associated to that.
Jesus.
Oh,
That sounds good.
This is not going well.
So what would that go with?
What ability? Probably
Yeah.
intelligence.
We're fucked.
No, if I was doing that, we'd be fucked.
Okay, I mean, you're not being super quiet, but that's good enough. I think what happens is you start to talk, and Ronan's like, shh, dude, inside voice, like, calm
Inside
down.
all this stuff going on.
You're like, they just left. Oh, I mean, they just left. Like, and then you kind of can explain it.
So I was, you running, that chick back there. So I was checking her out, right? Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, of course, yeah. So I was watching her, and as soon as we turned our back, or she thought we turned our backs, they just started booking it the other way. Right after you guys left.
Looks like we might have company down there.
Or they sending us off to the wrong spot. I'm not sure. We're getting it checked out to see if it's the right spot or not.
We?
Well,
I'd say
I'm
there's
doing
three
half
of
the work.
us.
I'm doing half the work. I ran over you guys.
Start looking around for San Francisco to see where he went off to.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the camera pans, and Francisco, you approach the rescuers, and they look up at you and they go, sir, could you help me with something? We're trying to find this gate, and we don't know. But they do speak Russian. Like, you could tell they know what Russian lettering is.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Do you know where Gate G is?
Oh, looks like we're trying to help each other. Gate G? Do you not read Russian?
No, I apologize.
Whoever gate, this is common, it's okay. Usually when people do this, they do it for people who don't speak Russian, since that's the start gate over there. You know, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7th letter, 7th gate.
She told us.
Okay. Thank you.
So I take it you don't know where the administration's office is then?
Not really.
Rats. All right, well, thank you very much. Hey, if you hear anything about that wreckage, we're trying to get down there and help whoever we can.
Will do. I will let you know.
They nod. And you leave.
That's good to know, I assume.
Yeah, you probably turn around and see them coming right back to you.
Well, I was standing at, they said 10. The lady said 10th gate. So I was standing there waiting for him to come back and confirm.
Yeah, that works. You guys are waiting by the 10th gate, which is actually quite a ways down. This is like an airport, so 10 gates down is like a good 8-minute walk.
All right, so I start jogging towards the 10th gate.
Yeah, not a problem. Could you roll me... roll me a skill such as athletics or acrobatics or something along those lines for navigating your way through the crowd in a jog.
Could I... I'll roll athletics.
It's not that it's impossible, it's just, do you crash into people while you do so?
Got it.
Because this is kind of like a rat race, right? You've got two groups heading to the same thing, so otherwise I wouldn't require a roll.
What attribute should I put for that? Dexterity? Or?
It's up to you, dexterity or strength.
Depends on how you want to navigate through the crowd.
The clown? Whoa! Leo! Okay, you did it. Yeah, you're probably just dodging and weaving and getting your way through the crowd. Nice. You know what blue means? It means that you rolled max on one die and you critically failed on the other. So you rolled a 6 and a 1.
Nice.
Alright, so yeah, you do it in relatively decent amount of time. You don't offend anybody as you power through. There's a guy selling what looks like grilled rodent, and it actually smells kind of good. He's got like this sauce that he coats on it, and he's like, sir, are you hungry? Okay.
During the last time we ate was beer, we're probably pretty hungry at this point.
Yeah, because you guys turned... No, I think you ate at Sang's, didn't you?
We ate a little bit, but it was mostly beer.
Yeah, I mean, he's got real food there, too. It's not like... What you guys would normally eat in this spaceship is like tofu bricks and sludge full of nutrients. This is actual food.
I don't have any credits on me.
So maybe as Francisco's jogging towards you guys, his stomach's like...
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't take him long to get over to you guys.
Well, they definitely pointed us the wrong way.
Fun.
Bitch. Leo, you might have been onto something.
Yeah, I think she was totally into me.
No, that's not what I mean. About the lettering.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, it's the 7th one over. You just count it out like I showed you guys.
We'll have a talk about this later. We need to go.
He's just gonna hold up a finger and then point over to the food thing. Do we want to grab that before we go or when we come back?
I mean...
I would say that it's.
They'll still be dead.
I'm from a mining colony. I'm pretty much affiliated with how the lower down in the mine you get, the less available anything is. So the stuff here will probably be the only thing we will have that's cheap enough until we get back to town.
Yeah, in fact, actually, you get the point that that's what the merchants who sell food here is for, is that the miners will come by and just grab a haunch of meat and nibble on it while they're moving from one place to another.
I've got a handful of credits, but I don't know how expensive it's going to be, but I recommend we get something before we go down
You
there.
could try to steal it.
Let's just try and buy our way through this.
It's really easy. Just go, how much? And then.
Yeah. So after he gets a nod from the rest of them, like, yeah, that's a good idea, he'll head over there first.
And I'll follow because I realize I'm pretty hungry too.
Yeah, you guys approach, he sees you and goes, "Ah, привет, как дела?" Motions for you.
English?
Oh, sorry, friends. I did not know you spoke the English tongue.
We're kind of trying to remember what Francisco said. Guests.
Right. Are you hungry? I saw your mouth watering when you approached.
How much for 4?
4? 10 credits.
He's not even gonna think. He's not even gonna think of haggling. He's gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, so you guys give him the 10 credits, and he takes 4 of these little beasts off the skewers. You can't really tell what kind they are. They have a tail. They've got 2 pointy ears. They look like they've been skinned, or at least defurred, so you don't have to worry about fur. And they almost look like rats. And he hands it to you, and he's like, "Guess I better start making more, huh?"
Probably. Just completely straight face, probably. And turn around.
Yeah, and it's got its own delicate sauce on it. And as soon as you guys buy it and he hands you the food, you exchange the credits, he turns around to these cages in the back, and you hear him go, "Here, kitty, 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 meow."
I'm gonna have it like in my mouth as that happens.
Yeah.
Taking a bite, just.
Yeah, I think maybe you pull it away and you look at it and you realize that without fur, cats look really weird, but now you can tell that these are cats. These are stray
What's wrong
cats.
with yours? I asked Brendan what's wrong with his.
Does it taste good?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, let's
great.
roll a 3d6. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to roll his cooking skill.
Oh, you fuck.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty good.
I'll chew it a little slow.
Not the best. It's a little gamey, but it's actually pretty good. I mean, it's kind of like going to a cheap barbecue restaurant.
I look at Leo. It's alright, just try to eat it quick. We gotta get going.
How it's trying to do its military eat, where it's just like, oh, no.
Yeah, you're eating it like a corn cob.
I'm trying to eat this like soft strip cat, like as inoffensively as possible. So I'm just kind of like delicately taking bites and like wiping my mouth.
I mean, the meat is really tender, so if you use your fingers, it tears right off.
Oh, I'm basically tearing it off like it's cotton candy almost.
Are you eating any of the head?
No, I'm leaving that alone.
I'm eating it all.
Yeah.
And it's dripping down my arms.
You like take a bite right out of its skull, and it's just like delicious. No, I would imagine the head was like just there for decoration.
Fish.
Yeah. or like pig. You don't eat the pig head. It's just there for decor. Yeah, so, but hey, it sustains you.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to punish you guys for malnutrition, that's for sure. All right, so do you guys approach the 7th gate?
Yep.
Yeah, you get there no problem. Like I said, there's private security here, except this time it's Boris's private security. and they block you.
I hand them the documents that we have.
They read over it and they're like, no. And they motion for you to step in.
There we go.
I say thank you as we pass by them.
I realized the way that I said that, immediately my brain was like, da da da, dee 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 da da da. Yeah, so you guys walk in. The corridor itself leads to a giant metal thick blast door, and it's covered in city handprints. And the moment you guys open it up, if you thought it smelled like an ashtray out there, it definitely smells like an ashtray in here. It's a locker room. There's showers, benches, and a bunch of lockers. There's also a few of Boris's employees here. One of them's like this fat supervisor guy walking around naked, water dripping from his body. A couple other guys are joking around at the lockers as they're like showing each other pictures of women that they've seen. And then the lockers that you guys were assigned to is on the opposite side.
I'll immediately head over there.
I'm
Alright.
looking for suit hanger or something, something to dispense that kind of EVA suit or something.
Well, the hazard suits will probably be in the lockers. When I say lockers, I'm not talking like metal, like lockers. I'm talking like almost like gun lockers. They're fairly large, and it's so that you can pull out your hazard suit and put your belongings into. In fact, I would say that Al-Ashrad's seen these before.
Probably. I'm a little bit more familiar down here than you guys probably might be.
Yeah, ironically, you've been kind of like the outcast, the one that's been out of his element the entire game so far, but now you're in your element, and they're like, ew, cats, gross.
It's like,
You're like, as long as it doesn't meow on the stick.
It's like, what was it, Demolition Man when they went below the surface?
There
Yes.
You go. Right, you see any cows?
Rob Schneider.
So yeah, I'll see if I can, if there's any, is there any reference on the document to see where we're supposed to collect this stuff from?
Oh, you mean the suits? They're in the lockers waiting for you.
I mean, what lockers are there? Like a whole row of lockers? Or
There's a whole row, but Ronan has the numbers.
Okay.
And it's in Francisco's name, so Francisco has to use his ID chip to open them.
Alright, so I make my way to the lockers with Ronan.
Yeah, you
Obviously,
open them all up. Leo's is separate. Like, your guys' are right next to each other. Leo's is 7 lockers down.
Oh, good.
And the reason for that is because it's abnormally tall. So it's actually
Makes
a different size. Yeah, and of course there's a bunch of panels written in Russian on the wall of the lockers. Probably warnings, important warnings about the use of the suits. But you guys aren't going to be able to tell. Al-Ashrad would probably explain to you guys that with this armor, with this suit, you cannot wear armor. So if you are wearing something right now, you have to take it off. And just so that you know, as characters, and Ronan, Ethan's actually studied these suits a lot. The armor class for these are 7. And you don't want to get shot too much in these.
Yeah, it has a self-healing thing for bullets, but knives, if the HP is lower than 10, it has a 50% chance of damaging the suit. So, if guys get close with a blade, make sure they don't stab you.
I mean, that should be your guys' logic forever.
Yeah.
Is make sure that you don't get stabbed, but...
Funny part is, you guys lose your armor. I add to mine because my undersuit is essentially skin tight anyways.
Well, there you go. Fuck.
All right.
He's going first.
Beach.
So yeah, you guys get into your suits, and I don't know if you guys can see if you open up Skype and see the past pasted pictures. I did drop a picture of what the bio suits look like. I know Ethan might see it, but I don't know if any of the others do.
No, but I'll grab it. and share it.
Yeah, if you could grab it and share it, that'd be great. Just so that they could see what it looks like. So yeah, you guys, it probably takes you about 10 minutes to get into this stuff.
I'll also double check to make sure it's on right.
Yeah, so you're going to everybody, making sure the seals are done right. Yeah, actually, these are really nice suits. You've seen...
Can I make a tech roll for that?
Yes, please do. It would be post-tech. It's not really anything pre-tech.
Was it good?
Looks great. Actually, what you've noticed is that sometimes companies patch their suits, but it looks like Boris doesn't mess with that. He usually just replaces the entire arm or whatever might be damaged.
Cool. And we can wear our weapons with this, right?
Well, on the outside, yeah. You can't conceal your weapons.
No. That's haven't been concealing it since. So.
Yeah. Like, you could take your holster off and then put your holster on over it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what I do then.
I'm bringing the med kit that we got from the escape pod as well, just in case.
Yeah, and then on the other side of the locker room is another door, and that leads to the garage.
Right.
And then Ronan, if you'll also recopy the grav lifter that I sent you, and make sure to reshare that.
Yep.
So once you guys are ready, we can move on.
All set.
Cisco's ready, yeah.
Ready.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, so you guys turn on your heel. Oh, go ahead.
Is there a headset?
Yeah, they've got comms, and how you configure them, it's kind of like Bluetooth headsets. You guys all stand next to each other and hold it, and then it pairs all of the suits together.
Is there an emergency feature in them that kind of goes back to like an operator kind of thing?
So an OnStar almost?
Yeah,
No.
like an on...
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know,
My
kinda
suit
like
has a leak.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It's in Russian.
Do you have a comm pad?
I do.
I mean, if you have a comm pad, you can put it in the little device slot that they have and get connected to nearby communications.
I'll do
But
that.
you're basically just using your smartphone.
Okay.
Okay, at first I thought you were being really retarded, but that actually makes a lot of sense. You're like, does it have an emergency function? And I was like, totally on a Zell's level. Like, OnStar? like you fall and it punctures a hole and all of a sudden the suit's like, hi, OnStar here. It looks like you're in trouble. We'll send a tow truck out to pick you up.
I've fallen.
I can't get up.
Yeah.
There we go.
No, you guys are dicks. So the door opens and reveals the garage. And in the garage, there's several grav lifters parked next to each other. Some of them are missing. And then you see people in the hazard suits loading them up with mining equipment. And all you have to do is go grab one that's empty. Okay, now the real question. Who's going to pilot it? And I'll let you guys, hang on, I'll let you guys discuss that over our break because this is the end of part 1. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you like what you see, hit that like button, and if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Check out further episodes in the future. Until next time, bye-bye!